Welcome back to Fourth and Pain, the only football and pro wrestling show to be hosted by an NFL player and a weight loss champion. Redskins defensive end Adam Carriker is with me.
Finally, Chris Cooley has come back to Fourth and Pain.
Letting the cat out of the bag early. I like it. That's Redskins defensive end Adam Carriker. I am former wrestling announcer, weight loss champion Chuck Carroll. This is Fourth and Pain with new shows each and every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern. We tweet them out at Fourth and Pain and on fourthandpain.com. Adam, you let the cat out of the bag, so you might as well bring on your former teammate. Do the intro, my man.
One of the most popular Redskins of all time, slightly overrated. Chris Cooley, how you doing?
Wow.
I'm all time, man. This is such a good day for me, buddy. Now I get to talk to you, so I'm pumped about that.
I'm excited as well. We appreciate you coming on, man. How has the transition for you been from the field to doing a radio show every day? What's that like for you?
You know what? It's been actually pretty easy until I show up at Redskins Park yesterday and one Adam Carriker is standing in the parking lot, and I go to talk to him, and he says, "Oh, you're in the media now." I can't.
We were talking,
and that's crazy that.
Normally when you talk to another teammate, you kind of just say whatever, but all of a sudden you're talking to a guy who's got a microphone in front of his face, as I do, but not near as much, and it's just like, whoa, I got to guard what I say now. But Chris is trustworthy. I have no doubts.
So yeah, Adam and I are friends, and I mean, he's dealing with an injury right now, and I kind of said, how's your knee feeling? And he looked at me and he said, I can't tell you how my knee is. I'm not going to talk about my knee with you. I literally wanted to say, Adam, I actually work for the team now. My job is with Larry Michael. I'm part of the team. Yeah, I could say something in the media, but I kind of like my job with the team. It's pretty nice.
I appreciate that. And if you heard our first interview, Chris and I like to go back and forth. We like to give each other crap, kind of like London Fletcher and I do. It's all in good fun.
I love the story that you told about your first, well, maybe it was the fourth preseason game of the year out in Arizona, your first year with the Redskins, Adam, and you hadn't, you weren't playing. Chris wasn't playing, but Chris, I guess, had one too many on the flight out there and started mouthing off about your love of pro wrestling. And, well, you just didn't know Chris all that well yet, and you took exception to it.
Oh, well, he wasn't just mouthing off. He was being very loud and vocal on the plane with a couple other guys. So, later on, when I had a chance to talk to him one-on-one, I was like, hey, man, that's not cool. I don't want to have to hurt you here on the sidelines in front of everybody. And he cowered into a corner and he apologized and said he was sorry.
Chris, is that how you remember?
The one-on-one was like third quarter of the preseason game, and I'm completely blindsided. I actually think he's being sarcastic. I can't even tell if he's joking because it was a minuscule situation on the plane to me, but I didn't know he was that serious, I guess, at the time about wrestling. And so I was kind of messing around. And then I'm on the sideline and he says, do you have a problem with me? I'm like, no. Wait, is he joking? No. Do you have a problem with me? And Adam towers over me. I'm like, no, man, I don't. I actually don't know what you're talking about. I started to get all worried about it. So he tells me the story, and I literally can't help from laughing because I'm such an idiot that I'm laughing at myself the entire time that I can't believe I did that. But I did feel bad. I don't always want to be the a-hole. I sometimes put myself into that situation. So you have to deal with the consequence of that. But I think because of that, Adam and I became better friends, and it's been a good relationship from there.
I would agree with that. I love joking around with guys, but like you said, Chuck, I didn't know Chris that well at the time, and
sure,
so I took a little bit of exception. But now, like I said, he's overrated, and I don't worry about it, so it's all good.
Speaking with former Redskins tight end Chris Cooley and current broadcaster. Again, Chris, let's go back to this transition a little bit because I'm curious. As a former player, what is the single biggest surprise that you've had now that you've made that transition into the radio booth?
Well, I think there's a lot of surprises. The biggest surprise for me is the difference in preparation. You have to know so much when you want to do a good job in the radio booth. And as a player, you're involved specifically in the team and your plays and the playbook and guys around you. And I didn't watch sports very often. I didn't know baseball players. I mean, I know some. I watch SportsCenter, but I've had to really start to study over the last 3 or 4 months. I've kind of had to change my daily habits. I get up and I spend 3 or 4 hours doing research and trying to learn everything. And I'm sure I'll transition into being more comfortable and being more aware. And I want that to be a short transition. But for now, it's a big change in preparation for me. It's not physical work. It's actually study. But it's been fun.
Well, no,
you know what the other thing is? The other thing is it's hard because everyone calls me a stupid idiot jock. This guy's an idiot. He's the worst thing ever for radio. I'm like, wow, people really liked me as a football player, and I don't even get a chance to be a good radio person. So many people just hate me right away. So that's been interesting. It hasn't killed me, but I certainly don't love it.
Well, it's a funny thing. You would expect there to be some sort of a learning curve as you transition into that full-time broadcaster, but I've seen some of the things that have been written about you and heard some of the things that have been said. And honestly, as a guy that's been doing this now, despite my mediocrity for, 10 plus years, I honestly don't think it's fair for anyone, let alone a former player or anyone, to go automatically and become this elite broadcaster out of the gate. And that said, Chris, I actually think that you've done a phenomenal job thus far and should be commended for your efforts. The mere fact that you're putting in as many hours as you are on show prep tells me that you want to be good and you want to be a good professional.
Well, I think it's interesting because I know Chris, and Chris is a very unique personality, a very charismatic individual. And you put that microphone in front of his face, he gets his prep work in. Give the guy a chance. He's going to be good at what he does. And I've heard some of the things that he does. Here's what I will say. I guarantee if for some reason it doesn't work out in the radio world for you, you could grab a mic, step in a wrestling ring with your athletic ability, with your charisma, and you could be a wrestling superstar. What about that? Would you ever give that a chance?
So I was actually a good wrestler in high school. I was a state champ. I was 40-0 my senior year. I was an All-American.
I believe it.
And I've found a lot about, like, would it be fun to do UFC stuff? Would it be fun to wrestle? Wow. And then I decided I don't want to get hit in the face.
You're too pretty, is that it?
I do think I could wrestle, and I think that a lot of it would be a lot of fun. I wouldn't mind the work. I'd like working out. I'd like spending the time. I'd like getting in the ring. I literally don't like getting hit in the face at all. Some people don't mind it. I hate it. So it might be tough for me. Well, but I wouldn't mind wearing the costume. I can say that. I would be elaborately dressed.
Well, I could see you not wanting to get hit in the face, and I could see in my mind you definitely be wearing something very interesting, very eye-popping, maybe Fandango-ish like to the ring. And Chris probably doesn't know who that is. He's a new wrestler that dances all around him. He acts like there's something wrong with him. But let's ask a couple of Redskins questions
thanks,
here. Well, no.
It's a good thing, Chris. It's a good thing.
It's a compliment for you, not so much for Mr. Fandango. But let's ask a couple of Redskins questions before we're out of time here. What are you expecting from this offense this year? They were one of the top 5 offenses in the league last year. Can they be better? Can they be as good? What do you think?
The thing I liked most about this offense is it was on the cutting edge. It really was an offense that is going to change the way the NFL's played. I think it'll change the way quarterbacks are drafted, quarterbacks are looked at. Obviously, there will be respect for a guy like Tom Brady or Peyton Manning, but I think when you look at your average quarterback around the league, if you're going to have an average guy, you'll go to lean more towards what the Redskins did offensively last year and what they can do this year. Just provides so many opportunities for deception, I guess. Talking to defensive coordinators and talking to players around the league, no one knew what we were doing. No one knew how to play what we were doing. The ability of Robert to be able to run the ball the way he did, and I know he doesn't want to do that as much, but he still can, created the element of an 11th man on offense. And defenses aren't really designed to stop 11, at least in the run game. So it really started to change the way you have to play us. And when you open up 11 men in the run game, then your play action is fantastic. And Robert was very successful in play action. He was very accurate, completed a lot of passes, but he had a lot of open people because on defense, I think a lot of guys didn't know where to be or exactly how to play certain situations.
Real quickly, we got about 30 seconds left before we got to let you go. As one of the greatest tight ends to ever play this game, and
Nope.
most likely the greatest to ever play here in DC, what tight end steps up this year and who's going to stand out for the Redskins at the tight end position?
Well, right now I'm most excited for Fred Davis. I think you really look at him to have a great year. He had a great first preseason game, sans the touchdown celebration, but he had a real suddenness off the ball. I mean, the guy had a burst. Coming back off Achilles, that was what I was looking for most. Not would he be in good shape? Would he cardio be okay? Like, I look for a burst, and Fred had a real suddenness off the ball, and I like that a lot. But I think the position is very deep. Logan Paulsen's a completely dependable player. He's a guy that is going to do what you ask him to do every single time. Niles Paul has developed tremendously. He'll be an asset all around the field. And then you got a young rookie in there who they really like. An unfortunate comparison to Aaron Hernandez, but in terms of football, which is the real comparison, that's a compliment. And he has quick feet. He has the ability to be real shifty, a good route runner. And so look for a lot of big things at the tight end position.
There you go. I like it. Chris, man, we greatly appreciate your time and impressed by your broadcast skills, man. It's already showing.
Appreciate it, bro.
Guys, thanks so much. It's always fun, Adam, and pleasure. You guys have a good afternoon.
All right. Thanks,
Appreciate
Chris.
it, man. Thank
Take
you.
care, buddy. That's
Later,
Chris
guys.
Cooley on Fourth and Pain. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.